Hi, having a great day. You're watching JG Entertainment, and for this video, I'm going to go in over episode 5, giving you the full breakdown, a full recap, and my full review of this episode. And I really think this episode really worked. This episode was called The Axe Forgets, and I'm really going to give you a really nice recap of this, and a really nice breakdown, telling you what each member's motivation is, what part of the plan they're playing, telling you some developments with Syril Karn, as well as Mon Mothma, and just telling you what to expect from the next episode. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really nice and complete breakdown, really easy to explain. So if you want to know what's exactly going on with each character that you didn't quite get in the episode, this is going to be an amazing breakdown for you. So yeah, just enjoy the video, and yeah, let's get started. So first of all, we're going to start with Syril Karn, because he was the member that actually opened the episode and this time, and he was eating cereal, which is really funny. Syril Karn, and he was eating cereal. Okay, whatever. But yeah, he was eating cereal. He was eating breakfast, which is really weird to see just a Star Wars cereal. I thought it was pretty nice word building. And yeah, he has a very judgmental mother, which is not what I expected from last episode. I thought like the mother was like a very loving mother. I guess she could still be loving, but she's like really mean. Like, wow, she really just destroyed him brutally through his emotions and everything. It was really messed up. But yeah, and apparently she talked to Cyril's uncle, and he's taking care of him, looking for a new job for him and everything. So that's really interesting. So it seems like the uncle has a bunch of connections, and maybe we'll come back later, maybe not, but we'll see. And Syril Karn definitely seems focused in trying to catch Andor. Whenever he's looking at the picture of Andor, he seems like that's his mission. That's his true mission. So yeah, really interesting development with him. We'll see exactly what goes on, but we did get to see more background and more kind of like character development with him and his mom. I thought it was really interesting to see how that worked and his home life and everything. It really just makes the character more third-dimensional, which is really awesome, and I can't wait to see what he does next. I don't think he's going to play a huge part in the next episode, but I think in the next 6 episodes, I think he's going to play a way bigger role. So yeah, I'm really curious. Alright, moving on to the next character, and that's going to be Mon Mothma, who has a daughter, which we found out that last episode, and now we finally saw the daughter. And the daughter is very clearly in the dad's side, believing that everything good that Mon Mothma does is just to show. Like she said, she was going to go to a charity place, and she was like, just wanted to show or whatnot. So that's really interesting. She doesn't really believe that her mother is a good person, but rather she believes that it's just for show, which I think is interesting. Like I said, it's on that side. I do think that this is going to come back later, specifically because we've seen Mama in the future, like in Rogue One, and we don't see her with a daughter. So that makes me think that she's going to stay with the dad whenever things go down and she gets discovered, which is really interesting. And I am very curious to see how this is going to work. I think that it's going to be a really hard emotional punch for her, and I think this won't actually pay off until like the end of the season, but I think it's going to pay off really good whenever it finally does. And the dad or her husband is definitely still under the payroll of the Empire. I really do believe that, and I think he's just another spy for the Empire to keep tabs on Mon, and I think she's going to find that out eventually. So yeah, that's really interesting to just see how they're spying on her and everything through the chauffeur. That's really interesting. Also, I really like that scene whenever she's in the car. I just think it looked very visually stunning and everything. Her look looked pretty awesome, and just the world building. However, like whenever the husband was like used to expressway or something, it just lets you know how there's still like highways and stores and everything, and just really nice world building that I really like what the show's doing with the world building of Star Wars. So yeah, now we're on to the next character, and that's gonna be Dedra Meero, who was in this episode very short, but she had a really nice and important role. And Dedra Meero and her assistant have a theory going on, saying that the rebellious acts are very random on purpose, and they coordinate to look apart, which is really interesting. And she is definitely right, as Mon Mothma is actually the leader, leading many rebellion groups who don't know that they're working together, with Luthen as the recruiter and kind of the face of the operation, so that nobody knows that Mon Mothma is actually behind it. So that's really interesting. So they're actually right, and I think they're going to get onto that. Well, they're already catching on to that, but now they have to get actual proof, and I think that they eventually will, and they'll become very much more important antagonists as the series goes on. So keep an outlook for Dedra Meero and her assistant. They're definitely going to become some pretty huge threats. Now let's move on to a theme, which, as like I mentioned, Luthen is recruiting a bunch of different teams and kind of giving them their own random assignments under the direction of Mon Mothma, and it seems like we're going to be following this specific team, and it seems like this is definitely the most important one, with the most important mission, as their whole mission is to steal a whole batch of payment credits from the Imperial officials, therefore giving finance to the rebellion. So this is definitely super high stakes, and it definitely seems like this is the most important team right now that they're betting in all the stuff. So that's the team that we're following with Andor. And so yeah, this episode we really got to explore each team member that we got introduced to last episode. So let's get started with the motivation and everything. And we're gonna start with Vel Sartha, which is the leader of the team, the girl. And I thought she had a really nice line this episode. I think we explored her a lot more. The last episode, which I think we didn't get that inspiration. This episode, she does some pretty good lines. For example, I really like the line where she said, "Everyone has their own rebellion." Really nice stuff. I really think that was awesome. Also, this seems like it's gonna be the first probable Star Wars lesbian, with very nice writing, with Skeen telling Andor that Cintian's blanket is taken, and then they look at Vel. So it seems like she's definitely lesbian. I don't know if she's the first Star Wars lesbian. I don't know if there's any other character that was lesbian in Star Wars, but she's definitely lesbian in Star Wars, which is really interesting. Like I said, I really like the writing. It's not trying to show it on your face, but it's just like really nice writing. They're like, oh yeah, they're a couple, and they definitely like a couple. Whenever Cinta was like trying to dress Andor, you can tell that she got a little bit jealous, and then so on and so on. So yeah, I really like that. Also, it seems like she has her own other plan of whenever they're gonna go on the heist. She and her couple and the other girl are gonna have their own other plan. So I wonder what that other plan is. I'm very curious. I have no idea. I really have no idea. So I'm very curious. I think it's gonna be some surprise thing, and I think it's gonna be super awesome. Now, talking about Cynthia, her couple, she is the healer. She's the healer of the team. She healed Andor's arm, which I think is really interesting. And like I said, she's a couple with Vel, so I thought it was really nice. Also, she also has her own side of the plan with Vel, which still remains to be a mystery. Which, like I said, I have no idea what the plan is. I am very curious. It's got to be a really cool surprise. So I'm really, really excited. Alright, moving on to the next team member, and that's going to be Gorn. And Gorn is the Imperial Lieutenant, and we find out some of his work as the Imperial Lieutenant. And he actually made it easier for the rebels to kind of ship the credits, not even by himself, but people were like, oh, we can't. They started to paint this and whatnot, and he gave a really nice smirk, but without making it too obvious. So I thought that was really awesome. I really like his lieutenant. You definitely feel like he's a lieutenant. Like whenever he's doing his work, I'm like, yep, he feels like a lieutenant. He doesn't feel like some undercover at all. So that's really, really awesome. We also learned that the motivation behind Gorn is that he fell in love with this girl that didn't accept the Empire, and the Empire found out, and they killed her and everything, and he basically lost his distaste for the Empire because of that, and that's why he's rebellious. So it's also a really nice kind of like just background information that is really making us feel more like, okay, this character has more dimensions to him. He was a lieutenant, he did it for the Blue Empire, but because of this girl and the fate that the Empire gave it to her, he twisted on the Empire, and now he definitely wants them dead. I think that's really interesting, and I think that this makes it more human. Like I said, I think it's just setting up really nice character moments for the next episode, where I think like he might like end up sacrificing himself or something for the cause. You could definitely understand why he's gonna sacrifice himself for the cause, or any of the characters in this team for the matter of fact. So yeah, I really like that they're giving these characters motivation. Also, I love to see whenever he's training the guys to act like soldiers, and kind of Andor kind of already knows how to act, and he gives them some tips on like, oh, you should switch sides with this guy because you need protection for that side. That was some really nice stuff, and I really like that scene. And also, right after that scene, a TIE fighter just goes through, and of the terror that they feel with a TIE fighter, it really makes a world building. And I'm like, yeah, TIE fighters are actually really terrifying if you're just a regular human being. For example, I really like the loud sound that it makes and how they had to cover their ears. I thought that was really, really interesting. And I also really like how like it just goes through the water, and it honestly was really intimidating. So yeah, I love that scene with TIE fighter. Really nice world building from Tony Gilroy. I think it was really nice done. Alright, and directed as well, really nicely directed. Alright, we're on to the next teammate, and that's going to be Karis Nemik. And this is the youngest yet the biggest believer in the cause, who has some amazing lines. For example, he says, it's easier to hide behind 40 atrocities than a single incident. That was an amazing, amazing line. And then right after that, he says, the pace of repression outstrips our ability to understand it. Amazing, amazing line. So he definitely seems to be more in the theory of the rebellion and everything. And I think that was really awesome. And like I said, he's definitely the youngest. And they were talking about how he was really green. But they also mentioned how he's like the biggest leader in the cause. I think it's really interesting. I also really like the interaction he has with Andor, where he gives him like the weird milk. That was a really nice interaction that just made him feel more human. So yeah, this character definitely feels very third-dimensional. He's a very likable character. I feel like he might be the one that actually ends up dying next episode to really like make us feel for him. So that can be the case, especially since that seems like the character that Andor is the most attached to. So we'll see. I think that can definitely be a very interesting thing, and I just can't wait for it. Like I mentioned, he is a little bit green, so he definitely has a higher chance of like probably dying. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with him, but I'm very curious to what they do with his story. I'm really, really excited. Now, the next team member is going to be Arvel Skeen. And Arvel Skeen is the person who didn't trust Andor at all from the start, whenever he checked all his weapons, to whenever he took his bag and Andor got really mad at him, to whenever he finally exposed the crystal and held a knife to his throat and got the crystal, and he was like, why would he have a crystal? Why would he bring a treasure to the treasure? Even though like Luthen gave it to him, but he doesn't obviously know that. And then he finds out that the truth about Andor, and he kind of lets off go, and he's like, okay. And then he apologizes because the Val makes him apologize, and so he states his motivation for why he wants to take down the Empire. And so he says that the Empire ruined his brother's farm, which is like a bunch of trees and everything. They flooded it, which is really messed up, and therefore they ruined his living, the way that he was making his money. And so he went on a boat, he got a bunch of stones, and he basically drowned himself to death. He killed himself. So that was really interesting. That I really liked that they kind of wasn't scared to go there, to go that dark. So that was really awesome. And yeah, it's really kind of like sad, and I really like that they're really making this motivation really human, and I think that's really awesome. And it explains why he really wants to take down the Empire. Also, a small detail is that he went to Yacht prison because he had like the tattoo, which is like a barcode, and Andor referenced it, and it mentioned how it was like Yacht prison or a Yacht center for between 13 and 17. So that's interesting. So that's just really nice world building as well. Alright, moving on to Taramyn Barcona, which is a character that rarely got any character development in this episode. I think it's the character that went a little bit less underutilized. Not much in this episode other than whenever he asked Vel if he had told Ciinta about Andor being a mercenary, because obviously he knows that they're a couple, which I think, like I said, really nice writing for talking about lesbian love and everything. I thought was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's interesting. He just really said that, and also that he's left-handed. That's the other thing we found out. And that's pretty much it. We didn't learn anything else from him that much. So this is the character that I think is the kind of most boring character, because we really haven't learned anything about him, and we'll see if there's more about him next episode. I think I'll be very curious, or maybe he can be a spy or something. We'll find out. I'm very curious. And then lastly, we're gonna go over Andor, aka Clem. At least that's what he's going on right now. And you see why he's essential to his team. You see why he has the military practice, he has the experience knowing how to infiltrate the Empire and using their vehicles. Like he was like, how were you guys expected to fly this thing if I wasn't here? You know, stuff like that. I think it's interesting. He also has a moment where he's talking about how he is paid. Like he reveals like, yeah, I'm getting paid to do this, and how he doesn't want to be used as an excuse to not could not complete this really dangerous mission. He's like, I know you're scared, I know you're scared, I know you're scared, I know you're nervous, I know you're terrified, but I'm not going to be that excuse for why you're not going to do the mission. If you don't want to do it, just call it off and I'll leave and I'll say good luck and everything, but don't make me the excuse. So that was really interesting and a really nice speech, and that definitely is like, yep, it's on you guys now. You can't just use him as an excuse. So that's really awesome, and I'm really excited to see how the next episode goes. I think his skills are really coming in handy, and that's really awesome. Also, I love his, like, just the way he interacts with other characters. You know, he has like, and he's very rough, like he doesn't like trust anybody, but at the same time, sometimes he can be really nice and everything and sympathetic. And honestly, Diego Luna is playing him perfectly. Like I really love the way that he's playing him, like really nicely done. So yeah, honestly, nothing but good things to say about Andor. I'm really enjoying his character development, and I really start to see how he gets from this point to Rogue One. I love that kind of journey. I really do. Alright, and just to go over the end of the episode, Luthen at the end has a really nice moment with his assistant, which was really awesome. Whenever he just keeps listening to the radio and he's really nervous about it. So I thought that was really awesome. I was like, I would be nervous about it too. And the assistant's just like, just wait, tomorrow it's gonna be over by this time tomorrow. And then he's gonna be like, and then he said, or it will just be starting, which is a really nice line. So yeah, I think he just has really nice moments in this episode, and I think those are just really good lines. So yeah, and then the score that plays at the end of the episode, right after that scene plays, is just really awesome. So yeah, I really love the score for this show. I think whoever did the score, I forgot their name, but the person that scored this show is doing an amazing job with the score. Every single thing about the score is incredible. So yeah, I really love that. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you in this breakdown. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments. What's your favorite thing? Who's your favorite character out of the Rebel team? Who are you rooting for the most? What did you like? What theme or explanation do you like most about this episode? I'm very curious to find out down in the comments. As well as just please leave a like if you find this video informative or enjoyable, or just like this breakfast in general. It'll be very helpful. So please leave a like. Also, don't forget to comment in the comments if you want to see more breakdowns like this. I would definitely wish to do them if you keep telling me to make these breakdowns. So yeah, and I see, just make sure to subscribe for a lot more content like this breakdown every week. I'm covering a bunch of other shows as well: She-Hulk, movies, box office, just news in general about movies and TV shows, trailer reactions, all that type of stuff. So subscribe for all that content that I'm sure you'll enjoy. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And this is J Entertainment out.